Good evening, everyone. Welcome to closing comments here for July 14th. Let's jump right into our charts and see what happened in these markets today. First up, we got our August live cattle on the board. We did see this cattle market with a breakdown day today. Both live and feeder prices closing down below some key levels on increasing volume, signaling some more weakness here in the near term. These range lows failing here on this August contract signal breakdown, as we are going to start to see a lot of these longs that have been in this market over the last couple months start to fold. We do expect to see some more selling pressure in the days to come. Look for this market to see some increased volatility here and maybe go sniff out the mid 220s here. A lot of this action that we saw back in June is now coming into play. We got some pretty wide ranges here to play around, so just be defensive, raise some cash here, let this market try and find its footing before we start to get involved. But in the meantime, we should see more downside for this cattle market. Look for it to start poking down here into the 220s. We are starting to see volume pick up here on this October contract. Meanwhile, it has not given up its monthly lows here so far. We continue to see relative strength in these back months. That October contract out here through April 27, all still maintaining that June 4th low, and so that's a good sign for those back months, as we could see some relative strength there going forward. But in the meantime, we still have some selling pressure here, and we should see some wider ranges and maybe some increased volatility while this market is trying to find its footing. So just be defensive here, look out for a little bit, and we should see this cattle market press down into the 230 to 225 area in the days to come. Next up, we got our August feeders on the board. This market also losing some ground early today. Opening range breakdown, pushing this thing below 352. Eventually getting a close down here below 350. This market giving up some key levels here, but still maintaining this June 4th low, as well as this feeder market has been a little bit stronger here recently. But like we've seen the last time we've been down below 350 so far this year, we have some wider daily ranges, some increased volatility, and that's something that we can expect here going forward. So get defensive here, raise some cash if you haven't already. We should see this market dance around here between about 340 and 350, maybe try and revisit this current year's low. We'll just have to wait and see what this market brings, but at the very least, we should see a little bit more selling pressure here before this week is up. So now is the time to just get defensive and let this market try and stabilize before we get involved. Next up, December corn futures on the board. Pretty uneventful day here in this corn market. This market just giving up those prior day lows and just balancing out here right around that 50-day moving average. At the moment, we've seen some nice back and forth action here across these averages, signaling that this market isn't respecting those averages very much, and we should see this thing just kind of settle into some range bound action here in the mid $4 range. Pretty similar to what we've seen on in this corn market over the last year or so. A lot of action here between about 470 and 450, and wouldn't be surprised to see that trend continue and keep this market range bound here in the middle part of the $4 range. Next up, crude prices seeing some upside after yesterday's close above 76. That got this market moving back up here to try and test some of this overhead supply. Today we did rally up there towards that 50-day average, seeing a little bit of selling pressure late, but a pretty mixed day overall for this crude market. We should see just continued spikes here in the near term. We could see this market just continue to balance out here in the low 80s. Anything up here towards 86 to 85 bucks. We got a lot of these prior lows here that will keep this market capped. So we could see some pushes up into the $80 range. Kind of like what we've started here today, but we should see those sellers try and get this market stabilized and eventually try and push this thing back down here towards 70 bucks. Just getting a little bit of an oversold bounce, definitely been fueled by some news here recently, but we continue to see this market run into some selling pressure up here. A lot of overhead sellers, so we should see this market fizzle out here in the $80 range and eventually start to bleed back down there towards 70 bucks. Next up, equity markets continue to turn around. We have seen the S&P just kind of being stuck here between about 75 and 7,600 with a slow drift lower here, just kind of coasting up that 20-day moving average, putting some pressure on these all-time highs. We do have good shape here, showing that we've got rising highs and equal highs and rising lows here, looking like this thing could be poised for a breakout above these 7630 to 7650 all-time high. But we continue to see some mixed action here on these mega caps. Nice day here for Nvidia, Apple, all all these guys still seeing some mixed action, but still seeing some constructive action on a lot of these guys that have kind of been range bound here in the last couple months. So we've got signs of life here. We just need to make sure that that tech sector can follow through. We are still seeing good support in the Dow here on that 20-day average. The Nasdaq continues to be the weakest of the bunch, but we are seeing good consolidation here. We want to see all of our mega cap names, a lot of these biggest components, start to flow together, start to dance in step, and we should see this market find its footing here and eventually start to take off towards those all-time highs. But in the meantime, we could see more choppy action here in these ranges we see here on the S&P and the Nasdaq here in the near term. But so far, looking like a lot of these big pieces of the puzzle are doing what they need to do, and we should see this market try and find its footing and get back on track to the upside. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Catch you guys tomorrow.